Episode 47, Sugar Daddy. Although Mary was teasing Henry, Serena saw that she was nervous. Mary seemed to be into Henry still. However, what about Jackson? Serena suddenly thought of the rumor about the truth of Mary's death in her previous lifetime. Rumor had it that Mary was killed in bed by Jackson himself, for unknown reasons. People said it was because Mary had another guy, and sponsored that guy with Jackson's money. Also, in Serena's last lifetime, Henry had turned from a nobody to quite a celebrity. Without enough capital, it would not have been possible for Henry to grow that fast. Suddenly, Serena had a hunch. Startled by her own idea, Serena started to look at Mary and Henry's interaction differently. Because if that was actually the case, it was horrifying. Noticing Serena's investigative gaze, Mary suddenly became nervous. Did Serena notice something? Holding back her nervousness, Mary sat down at the side of Serena's bed and started to chat with her. Once in a while, Henry would also cut in. However, Mary would talk back each time, like a quarreling couple. That made Serena even more uneasy. Thinking about it, Serena sent Henry away first and asked Mary to stay. After Henry was gone, Mary obviously became more relaxed. She asked curiously, "You want to talk to me? Do you know the one thing that no man can tolerate?" Mary shook her head, not understanding what Serena meant. That his woman is thinking about another guy. Hearing that, Mary became slightly pale and asked, "What did Jackson tell you?" "Nothing. I have never met Jackson. However, I could tell that you still feel the same way about Henry as you used to." Mary became even more pale. Is it that obvious? She had tried hard to conceal it. How could Serena tell? Serena was initially uncertain. However, seeing Mary's look, her suspicions were confirmed. "You know very well how Jackson treats you. He is Jake's good friend, and neither of them has a good temper. Do not get on the wrong side of him. Otherwise, the consequences would be grave." Like in her last lifetime, Serena had no idea what a huge impact her words had on Mary. Serena was even more clear on this matter than she was. However, after Mary became the mistress of Jackson, she knew that she could no longer wish for other things. She knew everything, but she could not forget about Henry. The reason that she had agreed to go to the high school reunion was simply to meet Henry. Mary's eyes teared up. Although feeling sympathetic for Mary, Serena knew that it was wiser to warn her now than to see her die later. "Thank you, Serena. I know. Jackson treats me well. I am not so stupid as to lose this sugar daddy." "Sugar daddy?" said a man's voice. The door was pushed open as a tall figure appeared. "Are you talking about me?" The two women were both startled, turning their heads. Jackson was wearing a tight, casual outfit, looking quite low-key and slightly gloomy. A gorgeous man, but dangerous at the same time. Unlike Jake, who always had a stern face, Jackson was smiling. However, it was easy to tell that he was not in the best mood. Seeing Jackson, Mary obviously looked a bit unnatural. She wrung her hands, looking nervous. How much did he hear? Just sugar daddy, or more. As Jackson walked into the ward, he glanced at Mary and put his arm around her shoulder naturally. "Talking shit about me?" Jackson whispered into Mary's ear, sounding dangerous. Mary froze and shook her head. "Then why are you nervous?" "I am not." "Baby, you're not a good liar." Mary's heart skipped a beat. She was even more confused. How much did he hear? Serena was worried about the same thing and tried to distract him. So, you're Jackson. Jackson then looked to Serena, asking curiously,
You remember me? I barely met you at your wedding. Has it been difficult to forget me?
Serena was dazed, not realizing that Jackson was such a playboy. Suddenly, Jackson approached her and asked,
I heard that you're going to divorce him.
Serena was even more confused. How did he find out? Looking at her expression, Jackson smiled.
So that is confirmed. Great job.
Serena chuckled. Isn't he Jake's best friend? Why is he happy about Jake's divorce? As Jackson said that, an object suddenly hit him on the head. Jackson paused, turned his head and bristled.
Who is it?
Then he saw a face as cold as iceberg. As Jake showed up, Jackson's anger immediately disappeared. Serena could clearly sense that his tone became weaker.
It's you.
Ignoring him, Jake walked inside with a lunchbox in his hand. He glanced at Serena's smile and said slowly,
You look much better now.
Noticing his dark gaze, Serena's smile disappeared a little, as she felt a bit uneasy. He seems to be unhappy. Is it because of the topic of the divorce? Seeing the logo on the lunchbox in Jake's hand, Jackson crossed his arms and teased,
The other night, someone is trying to deny something, but then he went across the city to buy food for his wife. What a slap on the face. Get lost. Just telling the truth. I got the land of East Riverside Village.
Jackson immediately stopped joking as he asked incredulously,
For real? You don't want it? I absolutely do. Then get lost. Right away!
Jackson immediately went away, pulling Mary out of the ward. It was the first time that Mary had seen Jackson acting like a pussy. She couldn't help glancing at Jake, and was immediately seized by his cold eyes. Mary shuddered.